that was leading up to seeing the resistance factors. The resistance factors actually came out of that cognitive bias study. But there's 3 dozen cognitive biases I came up with that actually impact us. Now, some are more frequent than others. The confirmation bias, I think, is a big one because it just has a snowball effect. But definitely looking at cognitive biases was a help. However, you can go upstream and look at where you're paying attention. If you're paying attention externally to things that are going on, external cues, and letting them be more than just a data point, it's very easy for your attention to pick up those cognitive biases. When you make it a data point, then you can assess it. Do I believe this to be true? Is it consistent with my principles? Blah, 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 before you do your reaction. The next one is mindset. This word is used a lot. Nobody wants to say I have a fixed mindset. So people, we have a growth mindset. But what people don't realize is I can have a growth mindset and a fixed mindset in the same area, just different nuances. I can also have a growth mindset in a particular area, and then something happens and I get triggered into a fixed mindset. You see this happening. All of a sudden the person can't do it and they don't see a way out. A fear response can trigger this fixed mindset. And if you don't have a fixed mindset, you really can't create into the future because you're just limited. The body that's in protective mode cannot create and go after the desired outcomes. You have to first get out of that protective mode because protective mode is a stress response and you're looking at everything through the lens of a cortisol-filled system. So mindset, we not only want to move from fixed to growth, we also want to look at the triggers and the things that trigger us into a fixed mindset, as well as having mitigating elements that we can use to get back to a growth mindset. So ideally, you get triggered into a fix, it lasts for just a second and you're right back to a growth. You want the automaticity of the unconscious working for you in that regard so that you don't stay in a fixed mindset. And that's very it's easy to do relative to living with these habits for 35 years. 3 to 6 months, you can knock all this out. If you're willing to make that happen and you're willing to go through the discomfort of unearthing the limiting beliefs and the habits of thought and challenging those things that we've been living with for 3 and 4 and 5 decades. And then the last one is beliefs. We have those core beliefs, the ones that we've chosen to have, and we have those conditioned beliefs that were given to us 0 to 7 or through our teen years, and they just got connected. Now that belief could be part of a meta program, and we're executing on these limiting beliefs. Beliefs are a little bit harder to change because of how deep-seated they can be and because of how many things are connected to them. It's beyond the scope of today's conversation, but we will address why that's so. And then the other thing is some of those beliefs may be outdated. Yes, it was a valid belief 10 years ago, but it no longer applies right now. It was a valid belief when I was doing this kind of work, but now that I'm doing this kind of work and I'm leading and people are relying on me for payroll, that belief is no longer valid, whatever that is. That's a real quick rundown on the mental area. I'll cover mental area again next week and the week after. And then I will get into the physical area, which I'll probably also spend 3 weeks on because the physical area can be both a resistance factor and an empowerment catalyst. And that's something I didn't mention today. What we want to do is take these resistance factors and remove them or mitigate them. But some of those resistance factors, we can flip them and turn them into empowerment catalysts. That's it for today. We'll see you next week.